I do have an announcement to make. We have with us today Ms. Laroche. However, Mr. Martin did not respond to the invitation to attend this forum, so we will just be asking questions of Ms. Laroche. So we will begin with this session of Section 1, City Council. Section 1 candidates serve the area of Crystal, south of 45th and 44th Avenue North. They were Nancy Laroche and Jim Martin, but Jim is not here, so we will focus on Ms. Laroche. The candidates will speak for up to 3 minutes of their qualifications, experiences, and desire to serve the citizens of Crystal on the City Council. There is a timer who will notify you at 1 minute, 30 seconds, and stop intervals. You may finish your sentence after the stop sign. Ms. Laroche, will you present your opening statement of up to 3 minutes?
I will. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you hosting tonight's event, and thank you as well as CCX Media for recording and helping spread this to everyone on social media. It's a great opportunity. I'm Nancy Laroche, and I'm seeking re-election for a second term for Section 1 in the southern half of Crystal. I've lived in the Valley Place neighborhood for 23 years with my husband, Walt, and I work currently as a medical specialist clinic and have been an active volunteer in Crystal for a long time. I served on the Park and Rec Commission for 5 years, the Charter Commission since 2015, Crystal Frolic since 2012, and area fundraisers, including our Police K-9 and Beyond the Yellow Ribbon bowling fundraisers. And I'm running again, similar to what I did last time, on 4 primary goals. First is prosperity, and that's keeping Crystal an affordable place to live and to do business. Inclusion, we have a more diverse population, up quite a bit considerably since even 10 years ago, and all voices are needed and welcome. I'm also running on safety to get neighbors more involved with meetups like Night to Unite, and to continue great outreach programs like the police and fire. We've done some incredible things like Night to Unite, the birthday brigades this year, Coffee with a Cop, Cone with a Cop, and it's great. I want to continue that. As fourth, communication, to be responsive and to share information in both directions. Neighbors encouraged me again to run for re-election, and I'm proud to be endorsed by them and not any political party. This nonpartisan seat should be people-driven, not party-driven, and it would be an honor to continue representing you again in Section 1, and I'm asking for your vote. Thank you.
All right. It is now time for questions, and so we'll begin with our first question to you, Ms. Laroche.
Okay.
What would you identify as your top 2 budget priorities for the next 4 years?
I think top is, after having served for 3.5 years, is seeing the need for our capital funding. When I first started, our Parks Department was severely underfunded. I think they were operating about $100,000 a year, which was barely enough to keep them maintained. So one of the things the council wanted to do was propose a 1% in the tax levy every year so that funding was in place for them to make needed changes. And with that, we've seen amazing progress and amazing things come out, say in Becker Park, for example, that we did with grants in addition to the funding that we've put in place. So I want to really incorporate those types of long-term planning projects that we've done and helping to fund them. Thank you.
Second question. What policies would you pursue, if any, related to the issue of affordable housing?
Well, as we've heard earlier tonight from our other candidates, Crystal is a fully developed city, and as that, we remain one of the top cities for affordable housing, which is a great thing. But a big challenge is being a tight market, and for home buyers especially. We've seen that when homes go on the market, sometimes they're not even advertised. They're snapped up and often sold higher than the asking price. So it's a great sign that people love it here, that it's affordable. We want to keep it that way, but also come up with creative alternatives, such as the accessory dwelling units that we came up with a couple of years ago, allowing residents to add additions to their home or make parts of their home available for renters or family members. So creative alternatives like that have been adopted. And I also received the endorsement of the Minneapolis Area Realtors Association, whose core values include diversity, equity, and inclusion. So we want to make sure that we're affordable and welcoming. Thank you.
If the City Council were preparing to consider a resolution on a topic that is new to you, what would be your process for educating yourself on the issue?
I think first I would like to meet with that person, that neighbor or group, and also invite them to, say, a work session or our meeting with the mayor. We have that once a month where mayor and city council members come early before a council meeting. And it's off camera, off mic, so it's a great way to just have an off-the-cuff discussion. And with a resolution, if it's something that we can incorporate or make permanent, we would want to help that neighbor go through the process of making that a reality. So I think communication early on, either one-on-one or inviting them to a group to meet with the council, and then further in the process to help, if it is viable, to make that happen.
What are your ideas to increase city revenues and/or decrease city expenses? What city programs would you like to see changed or implemented?
I think with revenues, we have adopted and recently turned to a 2-year biannual budget, which helps us and almost forces us to look to the future. And with that comes the difficult decision of how do we fund things. For instance, we talked a little bit earlier about funding a new police station or the Public Works building a few years ago. So with that planning, we also have to help with the funding. So sometimes we decide to incorporate a levy increase to help fund that. So I am for that if it makes sense. I am also for the city and appreciative of the city of doing whatever they can to help reduce expenses or finding creative alternatives to funding projects. I'll give a quick example if I have a second. Becker Park was a huge expense. However, with the creative work by the staff, we were able to help fund that all in cash with the assistance of grants and other donations, even by residents, to make that happen.
How would you strike a balance between short-term and long-term goals of your community? For example, if the city built a new facility, like a police station, what would be the best way to fund that project?
I think because the talks about that started last fall in our work session, we realized, first off, we had some options. Do we stay in this location? Do we go and do a city center town hall, which doubled the price? And we realized that's not really an affordable option. So we decided and encouraged the city to stay where we're at and build where we are. And with that, we discussed how do we fund that, how do we afford it? And because we've been funding in different silos, for instance, 1% of our levy goes to the parks, and that is a dedicated fund. Percentage goes into our utilities and streets, so that's a dedicated fund. And we also have our capital building replacement fund, which we're also funding. And I think that system has worked out really well and allowing us to pay cash so that we have that ability to have reserves for other things if they come up, such as emergencies.
All right. Give us your thoughts on the Blue Line extension and what can or should be done in light of the decision in August to stop negotiations with Burlington Northern.
That was very disappointing. And when I came to the council in 2017, a lot of the issues that had happened came before I was elected. So through these last 3 years, I was very saddened to learn that was pulled, but also saddened to hear that there were residents in other communities that were underserved and not included in this rail line. So I am very looking forward to being involved, being committed to get something done. And maybe there's another alternative while we're redoing this, because 10 years and $120 million later, we're back to the drawing board, which is hugely disappointing. So I support mass transit, and I also support other modes. Maybe we go to bus rapid transit while we figure out a new line. I am open to all options, and again, that we have safety as a top priority too.
As city council member, how will you work with the city commissions? And how will you utilize their recommendations? Would you support bringing back a Human Rights Commission or adding a Race and Equity Commission?
I would support either one. And having served on a couple of commissions, I've been on the Park and Rec Commission, where we came to City Council and worked with them to support ideas and projects. I think input by our public and our citizens is key, and to make them feel welcome and involved, no matter what commission it is. And I also want to work with them and make sure that it's an efficient, effective, and Crystal-centric in regards to helping us here and out beyond Crystal.
What will you do to support a vibrant economy in your city, both generally and specifically during the COVID-19 pandemic?
That was a tough one. This year has been extremely difficult for our businesses and for residents who may have lost jobs or had been furloughed. I was in one of them. I got furloughed as well. And what I think I'd like to do is encourage people to help the city, as well as take advantage of those programs, those tax relief programs that may be out there. We did get a CARES grant, which really helped with our losses here in the city. And I'm hoping that with that we can also, I lost my train of thought. Isn't that something? I had too many ideas swirling in my head. But I just wanted to say that with COVID, with the income loss and the revenue loss to the city, that's part of the reason why our tax levy is at just over 5 or 6% this year, and that is to help replenish those funds that were lost by the city. Hopefully in the future, when the economy kicks back and programs open back up, that those funds will be back in our pockets. Thank you.
What policies would you pursue, if any, relating to the Crystal Police Department and its community relations? Mm-hmm. What ideas do you have, if any, to make the work of the police department and any changes transparent for residents?
Very good, thank you. One of the things that struck me, and our candidates earlier had said, is I want to highly commend our police chief, Stephanie Revering, and our police department. I don't think I've ever seen a police department as engaged and committed to our community as they are, and loved by the residents as I've been out talking with them. One of the top things I've been asked is, you're not defunding or dismantling our police, are you for that? And I said, absolutely not, because our police department has been community-based for as long as I've known and have lived here. So I support the work that they do, and I also want to help them continue the work and engage more of the residents to get involved. We have the Multicultural Advisory Committee, which the residents are welcome to join, as well as the Citizens League, and our, I think it's the public, I know, again, words are just went, phew. But there is also the Citizens Community Police Force, or that you can come in and work with them, take ride-alongs, and learn about what they do and help work with them together. And they're always welcome to ideas. Thank you.
What are your ideas to increase city revenues and/or decrease city expenses?
Oh, I think I got that
Oh,
one
did I
already.
give you that question? Sorry. Give examples how you have been able to work productively with those who do not share your opinions.
That's a great question, and something that is key, I think, in a nonpartisan seat, is because I come into this with a broad respect for everyone and everyone's values and worldviews. So when there is someone difficult or with a differing opinion, you listen. And because sometimes your opinion might be what you think is right, but someone with a different opinion brings something else into the conversation, maybe an angle you haven't heard or thought of before. So it can help frame that into a different decision even down the road. So I welcome all opinions, and I'm here to listen. Thank you.
Thank you. You now will have 1 minute for a closing statement.
All right, I tried to be prepared for this too. Again, thank you, and to CCX Media for hosting tonight's event. Experience matters. I understand how local government works and will continue to be a strong voice for you. Representing Crystal in Section 1 during my first term has been a great learning experience. And most say they're pleased with the city and level of services. I found that in the majority of people that I've talked with. My goal is to keep moving forward and continue to do better. Neighbors encouraged me to run for a second term, and I'm proud to be endorsed by them. This nonpartisan seat should unite and include all of us, not divide. It would be an honor to continue representing you in Section 1, and I'm asking for your vote. For more information, you can visit nancyforcrystal.com or call me at 612-399-6791. Thank you.
Thank you. We will have a brief pause now to seat the candidates for Ward 3 and 4. Thank you.